This isn't just a college football game.
Number 1 Clemson visits number 4 Notre Dame. And here come the Irish.
This is the paw print versus solid gold. Dabo versus Kelly.
My name is Fire, Fury, Power. My name is
Kyron Williams might go.
Legend.
Touchdown. Uiagalelei firing deep ball downfield. Touchdown.
This isn't just a college football game.
Touchdown.
This is
TC and Jake. I got a major podcast network announcement to make. Right, it's kind of already been made, but I wanted to let you know that what I see here when I open my computer is that tomorrow I have an 11 o'clock appointment where I'm going to meet Tony at my house.
Okay, we're going to break down the contestants.
He's going to give a little preview at...
Okay. I could honestly see a scenario where the next time somebody wants to suck you off in print about your podcasting empire, not only am
They don't get around to this one yet.
Not only is IJB not mentioned, that's a given, but that one of your other 2 properties, possibly both, are knocked off the masthead as you're simply known as producer of Global Sensation Podcast, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
There's a market for it. There's got to be. And who better to host it?
I think so. You know, I get hyped up about it, and like I talk myself into it, and then I talk to Tony, and I'm like, maybe he's right. Maybe no one ever will listen. Like I walk in like, you're a subject matter expert. You have more passion for the subject than I've ever heard. It's the subject on which you speak most eloquently. You have a very like idiosyncratic viewpoint, which I think sells well. Like just in general, if you can differentiate yourself from the other people in the market, if people are like, this is like nothing else I've ever heard.
Right.
I think that's usually, in my opinion, you know, obviously doesn't always work, but I think a lot of times that's a pretty good thing, and he's got that for sure. But he tells me
he's
that
also
no one's
Tony,
going to listen.
So he's gonna undersell it.
Yeah.
But he's going to have an opportunity. I'm sure that won't last long before he's told to stop doing so. But he will have an opportunity to promote this product during the Dancing with the Stars minute at 12:15 the day after every episode this fall.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, well, it ain't a charity case. It's because I fucking love it.
I love it too. That's why I'm trying to give the people more. That's why
It's a ton
I'm
of fun. And I think
answering a lot of emails to try and give the people more.
I think this is really the format for him because there's never been a time where we had Tony on, be it with a guest that was an alum of the show or for the minute, where it didn't conclude with him saying, "Is that it? Are we out of time?"
Yeah. Maybe that should be the name of the show. Is that it? Are we out of time? No, he came up with a name for the show.
You're gonna release that at a time of his choosing?
Well, I think we can tease it now.
Okay.
The Ballroom Blitz.
Okay, I like it. He knows that alliteration works in this industry.
I think I successfully persuaded him that working like Ballroom Blitz, a Dancing with the Stars podcast, or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to be able to, whenever people type in
SEO.
Dancing with the Stars, I tried to give some SEO basics.
Hey, can I ask a question?
In our lunch.
I may have mentioned this before, but it grinds my gears, and I realize this is the start of a cut Seinfeld stand-up bit.
This is the weekly Grinds My Gears segment.
Has anyone's menu options not recently changed?
On the phone?
Yes.
Brother, I want to dissuade you of any notion that I'd memorized your previous menu options.
What a fucking pompous assumption on your presumption on your part that before I got a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's extension. I could do that here. We could go, hey, get out of here.
Haven't we been over this before?
Hey, get out of here.
You've had months and months of good behavior on the not bugging the hosts front. Didn't we have a wonderful weekend together? Wasn't that enough for you?
Hey, get out of here. Get out of here, dummy.
Here's Here's the cover art.
AKA the ballroom. That needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Nope.
It needs
It
to be
just
cleaned up a
doesn't.
little bit. But
The charm of it is that it's not cleaned up.
so, anyways, yeah. I don't know what your
I
menu
did make
options
it
were.
into the
Go
right
away!
size. I mean, I came over here to see you,
Go
dude.
away! Go away! Go away! See, she's got a bark collar on, so that shouldn't be a problem. Gives her a little.
Does it really?
It's really just kind of a vibration that apparently bothers them.
Okay.
The menu options has changed.
Can I have it?
Reminds me of. I think it probably took me about 8 years as a child before I was like, "Hey, they've been calling it the new Kiss FM since I was 7, and it seems the same." Was it? Am I missing something here? Like, did I start listening the day it became new, and then they
It
just
must be. It must be.
and they just kept going?
As a dedicated Kid Craddock listener at that time, I took like at Huffines Recreation Center in Richardson, Texas. They had like summer camp things where you'd go for a week, and they would have various areas of focus. You know, like one was basketball, and one somehow, like just from having these memories, I know that it must have been the media.
Okay.
Because there was whenever I worked at the morning news, I would go in the employee entrance, and it was a year that I've been working there before I ever walked through the main entrance. But whenever I did, it blew my mind because I realized I had been there as a child and didn't recall until like I was like, holy fuck, I've been here. It was from that, and then the other thing was that we got to go up to Kiss FM.
Oh, it's dope.
And so from then on, I was a Craddock listener. I don't think that he was around. Like I think it was in the middle of the day. But I mean I was just listening to Kiss a lot at that point because they let me go in the studio. Like no better selling point for a child.
I was listening to it because whoever was taking me to school, probably a mad mom in a minivan.
Yeah, looking back, I'm confused how my mother was depending on the fucking 6-year-old for figuring out the good entertainment choices in the new city. And not exactly new, like 4 years in at this point, but whatever, she was. And really, it's shocking in an abstract way, less so when I'm familiar with the personalities involved, but that's fine.
You mentioned your Don Huffines Recreation Center.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty tough to find. It was way easier to find humor and entertainment when Papa was just killing it for 4 years on the circuit. Because that's like not. I mean, a lot of that shit was really sad, etc.
Huh?
Trump.
Okay.
But like current political news, it's really hard to find anything that's like all that funny about it.
Yeah, it depends where you look, but sure.
But I found one thing, and that is the governor doing everything he can to appeal to the most extreme portion of his base, and his primary challenger outflanking him to the right.
Oh, easily, right? Yeah.
That Greg Abbott at least said, hey, look, I mean, I said you can get it after 6 weeks. That gives you about a, 2-day window to figure that out? And Don Huffines is like, this guy's pro-choice. And I'm coming for that ass. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what more do I need to get you away from me?
What was he going to say?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably nothing else other than...
Hey, you know what? Greg made some great points. Actually, I'm going to drop out.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It just seems like this is the thing you wouldn't be hitting. I mean, hit him on like the fucking grid.
But no, why did we bring up Kiss FM? It wasn't a great point, but I had a
because
small
it
point
reminds me whenever they called it the new Kiss of our
That's
menu
right.
options may have
I
changed.
recall that
I'm the court reporter over here.
Thank you. Although soon I will be able to do that because I have cut back on my weed with the point of making my memory better.
Good.
And I'm having some results.
Okay, I'd love to see that tested and compared as a baseline, like it's CTE or something. But I'm just gonna let you
Man, woman, TV,
dog. Person, I think was one of them.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you can't remember, then
That's true.
no, but people would ask him about it. Like the callers would be like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he's like, It's because we play new music.
Okay.
So the music is new.
I think I actually can buy that.
He would say it tongue in cheek, like in the way that he knew that it was a dumb gimmick.
Oh.
Like, but was trying to come up like a, no, they were saying boo-ayas.
Yeah.
They weren't booing.
I looked at Jeffrey Lurie's Wikipedia page today.
That sounds fun.
Do you know where his family got their wealth? And it wasn't from his bootstraps that just led him to... A couple years ago, I had an intern put together how every NFL team current owner got their team.
That's great.
And it's just all exactly what you think.
Yeah.
They either got it directly from their dad, or their dad founded a company, they worked for that company, they bought the team using the money from that company. Jeffrey Lurie's grandfather is the founder of General Cinema.
Okay.
Which was, I don't know if it's still banging these days, but that was one of the more popular movie theater chains when I was a kid.
What? You went to a movie called General Cinema?
Yeah, because I think that's when it became AMC. But I think for a decent portion of my
logo,
life, yeah,
I
you
do
definitely
recall
remember
that
the logo.
I don't remember a single time where my parents said, "Pile in the car, folks. We're going to General Cinema."
Well, I just remember, yeah, nobody was like, was selling you on the brand. It was more just you'd go to the movies and then you'd walk up and you'd be like, oh, this one's called this, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's where he got that's where his family got their money. And
At
Bob,
least they let people see movies.
Bob was properly remembering that he did meet his current wife because she worked the register at a Vietnamese restaurant that he frequented.
Wow.
I think her brother was the owner of it.
I think I'm, given everything else, fine with that. That sounds great.
Yeah, I have no issue with this. It's just...
It's an interesting tidbit that we do not have any critical feelings about. While we're talking about the rich, I have a listener submitted So They Got Away With That Huh? I've been meaning to get to for weeks.
It's good, because I got one I want to put on the radar.
You will see some parallels, I have no doubt, to a incident you've been talking about for the entire time I've known you. But before we get to that one, I want to let you know that Sam Walton's daughter, Alice... I should pull this Wikipedia up to make sure I get all these details right, although I do have a steel trap memory because now I only smoke twice a week. She was...
But he's itching by Thursday because he's already burned both of his chits.
No, it's always Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Although I did give myself a little treat because the Irish won.
Oh, right.
As you're aware. Personal life. Walton has been involved in multiple automobile accidents.
Yeah.
She lost control of a rented Jeep during a 1983 family Thanksgiving reunion near Acapulco. Acapulco, easy word. Reunion, difficult word. And plunged into a ravine, shattering her leg. She was airlifted out of Mexico and underwent more than 24 surgeries. She suffers lingering pain from her injuries. Was that the most permanent result of her injuries? Well, let's see. Let me see if I can pull up the... Yeah, here we go. I should have just had this ready. I apologize to the listener.
No one believes you. Hey, does it ever confuse you that there's a guy who works for CNN named Brian Stelter, and you're always like, oh, it's the Brian Stelter Orchestra.
Jump jiving, then you go.
Jump jiving. We don't talk enough about what a hilarious moment in time for American culture that was.
I think this was before you got on the scene, but I did make, and given the way that my music choices were going down with you throughout the weekend, I guess this is probably in my favor, given the amount of rotten fruit that was thrown at me for whenever I did put this on for the people who were there. But I did feel like there was an appropriate time to play the Woodstock 99 performance of Jump Jive and Wail. Because they were there.
Yeah, of course they were.
Oh, zoot riot.
Did you find your
boy,
stuff? I'm
yeah.
really just kind of trying to vamp over here.
Yeah, no,
looking at trending topics.
Before, I had been trying to read... So What's going on is I'm totally unwilling to spend even $5 to give these people content, despite all that they give us. So I've been looking at the Google Books, and halfway through the story, it cuts off, like as Google Books does. But I guess they rotate what they do, because now I have the full story. It doesn't cut off. So I was looking for the last page where it cuts off, and I knew it was just above that, and then I couldn't find that, and I was like, oh shit, they're giving me the whole story. So let me read you the whole story.
Okay.
Early one beautiful misty morning in April of 1989, speeding down the highway in her 1987 Porsche on her way from the farm to work, Alice Walton slammed into a woman trying to cross the road, killing her instantly. 50-year-old Oleta Hardin, mother of 2 fully grown, large adult sons, had been waiting for a ride to a job at a nearby canning factory when she decided to step down off her porch and onto the edge of the road to watch for her friend who was running late. Neither she nor Alice saw each other until too late. Hardin was carried up onto the hood of her car, her head smashing through the windshield before her body was thrown off the Porsche and skidded to it as the Porsche skidded to a stop. Hysterical, spattered with blood and shards of glass, Alice Walton ran back to the body, but there was nothing to be done. Walton was treated for shock and very minor injuries. Oleta Hardin's husband, Harold, who worked the night shift in a nearby tool plant, arrived home from work barely an hour later to find a policeman waiting on his front porch with the terrible news. He was still in shock. Though Alice had been speeding and had been ticketed twice for speeding in the previous year, the police decided not to file any charges. Witnesses said she couldn't have avoided hitting the woman. As police explained to Harold, he accepted their explanation.
But the first one, the 1983 when she was fucked up.
Yeah. She was drunk for that one. And that's not her only drunk driving incident. She's definitely... But I mean, this was, in the morning, so I'm not alleging the drunkenness was likely, although, with those fucking rich, it's not impossible. Some of them do drink in the mornings.
Like Tiger?
But yeah, just speeding down the thing. And, I like... Is speeding the most morally corrupt thing that a rich person has ever done? I would say no. Is the fact that within an hour the police were explaining to the woman's husband,
look,
hey, I don't think you should be mad about this.
There's not much we can do.
That I don't feel great about. Other than a payment from Alice Walton's auto insurer, Hardin said the family was offered no compensation.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say other than a payment of $2 million or something, because, she's worth like $1 billion more.
Yeah, no, I mean she was driving to work at the equity firm that she had founded with all the money her dad gave her. So
this is always watch this. Here, I'm gonna try something real quick. This is always one of my favorite things. We've talked about it before. So I'm gonna type in, and I know everybody's Google is different, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna type in Alice Walton space DR. Now, do you think that should return a result for me, given what you just said?
I do think it should.
DRU. Nothing. DRUN.
Yeah.
Nothing. It happens all the time.
I'm getting
now, let me try
Alice Walton drunk DRIVIN.
It's not. It just doesn't happen. If you find anybody who is, unless it's like a huge news story, like sort of corrupt, and you type that in, it will never show up in autofill. Now let me show you another one. Let me try Alice Walton space. I'm going to say CH. Oh, charity. That's weird. It's weird how the people who own the entire world don't typically have autocomplete. Like you have to go full Epstein. What are you doing?
Google had a little thing. That's my full explanation.
Well, so she got away with that, huh? And now Google's covering her tracks.
That's right. It does sound tough to be crushed in a Jeep. Don't drink and drive, kids.
Yeah, I would say it sounds equally as bad as being having your head go through the windshield of a speeding Porsche and then be...
Imagine having someone's head go through your car. I don't want to do it.
No, I don't think I'd ever be able to think about anything else.
But if I did, I think I'd feel guilty enough that I might offer more than what the auto.
Well, look, that's why I have insurance.
I mean, are the lawyers telling you that if you offer them $1, you're fucked?
Just because you're admitting.
Why'd you pay them the money?
Yeah, maybe. They're never going to stop coming back.
Yeah. I mean, you could just give him like fucking 10 mil with an agreement not to sue for more.
Talking about an NDA.
Yeah, I am talking about an NDA.
I know what your
right,
topic is
folks.
going to be.
No, that was the big. So they got away with that, huh? I just thought you were gonna compare it to the Augustus Bush the Fourth.
That's a great one. That is very early. No, somebody's been, not one person, but many people have been asking, why don't you guys talk about Missy Beavers?
See, I mean,
There's just not much there.
yeah, they definitely got away with that. Whenever we floated before, should we do a true crime podcast? The overwhelming response, insofar as there was one, like we got plenty of emails saying yes, they had an assorted number of interesting cases, but half the emails were, "What the fuck happened with that Missy Beaver shit?" And so I did a little Googling and stuff, and I don't know, man.
It's a wild one. Every time the anniversary comes up, all the local news sites will refresh everyone's memory on it. And everyone's like, I don't know, that seems really weird.
Certainly seems like they got away with that. But I want more. I want so much more. Like, I'm okay. Like, I just a sense that the police, I'm sure that department didn't have anything bigger happen that year. So I'm confident they did spend a lot of time investigating it. And I also understand how it's not normal police behavior to just publish an article with all of those details.
Yeah.
But sure do I wish they would.
Yeah.
Just because I want to know. Like, I want more on the whole thing. DNC pipe bomber, I think I'm inclined to move to. So they got away with that, huh? Just as a bookkeeping matter.
Okay, good call. Yeah, we make sure we put these in the proper ledger. You never really heard about that after that day, right? How close was that on the day?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on January 6th that there were bombs set to go off, and I don't know if they were found first or if they assembled them sloppily. But the FBI for weeks after I would see the tweet every couple weeks where they would say, "Hey, here's the pictures we have of the dude. Let us know what you can tell us." But
I remember, I don't know why, but I remember the guy's shoes that he was wearing near max turf speeds. Like, you got to wear something a little more nondescript. Like, go with the all white or the all black Air Force Ones, and
someone knows. Like, aside from the accomplices, like if you had other people to help them build the bombs, of course they know. But there's someone who said, "Fuck those!" Like, enough people in the country.
Turf speeds anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, those just.
We
even
told
if
them those
someone's
sucked the day bottom.
Do you think that if your brother was walking in a hoodie with no, like with nondescript shoes, do you think you would be able to tell? I'm going to run this experiment. I'm going to get 10 guys out here about your brother's height and build and put them all in hoodies, and you're going to have to pick out which one's your brother.
If I could see him walk, I think I could do it.
And they definitely got him walking. So I'm saying his brother probably knows.
And that's what was weird, too, about the Missy Beavers thing is because she was dressed up in so much tactical gear. She looked like the Stay Puffed Man.
You're saying the killer was a female?
Well, I don't. So that was the thing is that people started saying like that it looked like the gait of a female. Like a lot of like forensic analysts were saying that person's walking, with the gait of a woman. But the thing is that they're literally walking like, the kid on Little Giants when he has like
too much shit on me.
He did the perp had too much shit on him.
I don't want to be around anymore.
Makes it very hard to identify it. No, so I have one that I want on your watch list.
Okay.
Have you dove into this Murdaugh murders thing?
I'm seen Lethal Weapon.
Okay, not Murtaugh.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I actually haven't seen Lethal Weapon.
I've seen the first one and the third one, but I don't know if I've seen the second one. The third one I was obviously very into because they had incorporated Chris Rock. They're fucking you with the cell phones. It's great rant, dude. Joe Pesci, killing it.
It sounds good. I'm sure it's good.
This story is...
I have seen, what was it, the sixth one?
I don't know. I thought they stopped at three.
The Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah. Gold. This story is bonkers, and it's so much so that I'm not even sure that I can properly do it justice because I read for an hour, and then I was like, there's too much here.
Okay.
So basically, this is the story of it's going to be a TV show one day, depending on how it ends up being resolved. But in places like South Carolina that are, I don't know that you would call small town, but like there's like one family that is the legal dynasty family. Like the grandpa he's been.
And where did you say this is?
This is in South Carolina,
Okay.
about an hour away from Hilton Head.
Okay.
So it's one of those deals where there's been it's a family that runs shit for forever. They probably decide who gets elected to office, etc.
No doubt they met Strom Thurmond.
Oh, they were at the memorial with Biden.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start in June of this year. This is what they call South Carolina's rural low country.
I know about the Low Country.
It sounds like something that would end up on True Detective.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know how, but yeah.
I would like to see a season centered in the Low Country. You know, Pizzolatto has a movie coming out in a month.
Does he?
He wrote it. Antoine Fuqua of Training Day directed it.
Interesting.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a 911 operator.
Okay.
Catches a saucy case.
I'm interested in that. A lot more interested
But
than I am in the
there's more
Sopranos
than meets the
prequel,
eye.
which I'm sure will be something
Yeah, I
we watch
didn't-
for the show.
Yeah, I haven't. I know that people don't like the trailer, but I haven't seen it, and
I haven't either.
I'm not a Sopranos obsessive as some.
So Randolph Murdaugh was elected as he was elected as the chief prosecutor in this county 101 years ago. For more than 8 decades, 3 generations of his family have been prosecutors here in 5 counties. And so the latest one that's in the news is named Alex Murdaugh, a lawyer. He's the great-grandson of the first elected prosecutor. Back in June, his wife and son, I think his son was 22, were found shot to death at their home in Islandton. It's about 70 people that live there, 60 miles west of Charleston. So this is back in June. Police have made no arrests, not identified a suspect, and people start talking because
As they do.
the first thing you think is like this guy put somebody away and somebody affiliated. Anytime like a prosecutor's family is,
I just figure he did it. Sorry, I don't mean to give it away, but
well, we don't know.
I don't know what happened. I just,
So far, they've got away with that, huh?
whenever it's something like, there is something to police's insistence. Like the Bill James crime book is largely mocking police's refusal to consider anything other than family members, because up until like the 80s, they just refused to admit that serial killers were real. That was something that they thought the general public was just flat wrong about, and you're an idiot if you brought it up, and just allowed a lot of serial killers to do a lot of terrible things. Although, because they weren't getting quite the same coverage, I don't know that there was the same incidence of them. It's not just coverage. There's also the 60s, we really had a series of relaxations of things that would get people put in jail and instances where people would be kept in jail. And so we ended up with a situation in the 70s where the percentage of the incarcerated population was very low, which I do like, of course. But a consequence of that is that the number of people that you do need to keep away from the rest of the population for safety reasons
Kind of can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, some of those people are out, and then Ted Bundy goes and kills a bunch of folks.
But that being said, I do think we see stories like this often enough where prosecutors' families are in danger. I think that happens, and not just on TV. Somebody gets out later, or it's, gang related.
There's the one in Washington,
That one was obviously the most gruesome, insane one.
the 9/11. It was around the time of 9/11,
Yeah.
so it didn't get on the headlines. Isn't it like essentially solved?
I think so.
Like, I don't think that the guy got convicted of it, but it's one of those things where...
They know who did it. They just can't figure out. Well, actually, they do know why, Jason.
Yeah.
kidding.
Wasn't it like a gun rights thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we did this about a year ago. So the son, 22-year-old, he
We'll
had been
do
out
it in
on
another year.
He was out on bail.
Time
He
is
was
a flat
charged
circle.
in 2019 with drunkenly crashing a boat in an accident that left a 19-year-old passenger dead.
Ooh, up until the dead part, that sounded like a good time.
Yeah. Well, just drunkenly crashing your boat for kicks as long as nobody dies. I mean,
Yes, that sounds like a good time to me.
so
I'm very serious about operating motorcraft in a sober fashion.
I know you are. So that's what we have in June. We have his family, this prosecutor, his wife and 22-year-old son found dead at their hunting lodge. Back in just over the previous weekend, early September, he was shot in the head. The dad, on the side of the road, where he said he was changing a tire. Now he lived. Police have said it's a superficial gunshot wound to the head. Declined to comment on the law firm's, or declined to comment further. Came out after it was reported that he was shot in the head. So like Monday, that he was let go from his law firm Friday. So before this weekend, he was let go from his law firm, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the state, for misappropriating funds. Okay, so my timeline here is in June, this guy's wife and 22-year-old son was out on bail for what I assume is a manslaughter charge, vehicular or otherwise. That happens in June.
So he's not the DA right now. He's a former prosecutor.
Yeah, and I think he's a former prosecutor and now just works in private practice for like a massive firm that is named after his great grandfather.
But so in June, family shot. Mm-hmm. When does fired and then shot happen?
Friday. So a couple days ago, we're doing this on Wednesday. That's apparently when he was let go over the misappropriating of the funds. Sunday is when he says that he was changing a tire on the side of the road, was shot in the head for it he got a superficial gunshot wound. And I think they said they were investigating it. I'm not sure if he actually resigned or not, but they were going to fire him. So the shooting was over the weekend, and today, I want to say...
Do you think someone might... I'd say... What would you put as the percentage chance that someone would shoot him for embezzling?
Like from the firm?
Like that they take it personally, you're a fucking low-down, dirty cheater.
And we're in the country, we do things our own way out here.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I can't see, not to really toot our own horn here, but I can't see a big Dallas firm doing that.
No, but over there I could.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, because there's a little more.
Okay.
So as of today, the state Supreme Court issued an order suspending Murdaugh's license to practice law in South Carolina.
Because of the embezzlement?
Yes.
Okay.
And he released a statement through his attorney today saying that he was going to be checking himself into rehab after a long battle that was exacerbated by these murders. He said, I'm immensely sorry to everyone I've hurt, including my family, friends, and colleagues. I ask for prayers as I rehabilitate myself and my relationships. So there is a small independent outlet in South Carolina, news outlet, that has been covering this, and they've been covering this family for years and years and years and years. And so I can't for sure tell you how credible this is, but it appears to be I don't know if you'd call it Central Track, like what Central Track did around the time of the protests, where they were breaking stories that the bigger media outlets were behind on.
Yeah, or like the Oklahoma paper that the guy, or it's not a paper, it's just a website that people occasionally send this stuff from.
Yeah.
Lost Ogle.
Yeah. Okay. So this woman,
Oogling.
Mandy Matney, she works at this place. And I don't even know the name of she's got 10,000 followers, and she's based in Hilton Head, South Carolina. She actually last month launched a podcast on this. Now, I've not listened to that. However, 4 hours ago, she tweeted, breaking, multiple sources familiar with the investigation into the Alex Murdaugh shooting, that's the dad and husband and lawyer, familiar with this investigation into Alex Murdaugh shooting, have confirmed to us that the knife used to puncture a run-flat tire on his SUV has been recovered. So he said he was changing a flat on the side of the road. They found a knife.
Okay.
The knife belonged to him.
Oh. I mean, does that mean anything?
I don't know. I don't know why it makes it appear that somehow he punctured his own tire.
It suggests that. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, if they're like looking at his car, I mean, I guess you're then requiring for the car to be unlocked.
But they're saying that.
But I'm saying, like, if someone's trying to puncture a tire of a car,
they could just take your knife.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I keep a knife in the car.
Hell yeah, dude.
What's up?
That's tough guy stuff.
I know.
So yeah, they don't know. They just know that the knife that had rubber on it that was found in the scene is his knife.
I'm just like the scene. If he owns a knife and keeps it in the car, I am probably overrating how often people keep knives in cars because of my personal experience. But if he keeps a knife in the car, the fact that knife would have been near the car is not remarkable to me.
Yeah, certainly possible. Somebody could have just been looking to go fuck with him and beat him up, and they ran him down, and he stopped, and they got into his car and.
Yeah, or like that they were trying to, before the car, like that, he's at the Walmart or whatever. I guess if you were having this whole plan, you probably would bring your own knife.
The New York Times also reported.
But I'm just saying, like, they wanted to fucking make him stop for a reason so they could shoot him on the side of the road, right?
Right. It was very odd to shoot somebody in the head, although I remember when my stepdad first told me that actually happens. Not like a lot, but that people get shot in the head and don't die. A lot more than you would have thought as a kid, hitting GoldenEye kill shots.
Yeah, there's a Stephen King story that ruminates on this for a while.
Like you can get front entry
and I was
around
allowed
the
to
back
read that as a 12-year-old
on your way to visit Kid Craddock.
I don't think that was a questionable decision. I loved reading Stephen King, and I don't suffer from night terrors or anything like that. So
sources both with this South Carolina independent news organization and the New York Times say that the total of the amount of money that is missing is in the 8-figure range.
Oh, my man!
And that the rehab check-in is for opioids.
Oh,
so there's a lot of shit going on here, as you can tell. And I have no idea if this will be resolved. It feels like in places like this, a lot of times it's not resolved. But
so what do you think? Like,
man,
the guy punctured his own tire to then shoot himself in the head, but it didn't go. Like, why wouldn't you shoot yourself in the head at home?
Because it would look way more like a murder if it happened on the side of the road. But I don't think they have a weapon, though. So to my knowledge, they haven't recovered a weapon. But if you were somehow able to pull that off,
these seem like enough facts that I feel like I should be able to assemble something more of a picture of what's going on than I don't know. I wish I wish I wasn't doing this live in public. I'm probably going to look like a dummy, but I'd like to know how all of this fits together.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
Because I think that the most likely thing about the knife being recovered is that he punctured the tire. But why would he puncture the tire?
Cops said September 7th, shots were fired at Murdaugh where he was inspecting a flat tire on his late wife's Mercedes-Benz. The tire appeared to have been slashed. A truck passing Murdaugh on the road circled back as he was assessing the vehicle. Someone in the vehicle asked if he was having car trouble. Murdaugh explained that he had a flat tire. Then Murdaugh heard a gunshot wound and realized that he had been shot in the head. Geez, cripes.
Oh, that really stings.
It's like somebody turned the blow dryer on too high up there. It's hot. Police said the incident was a, quote, setup, and the gunman slashed Murdaugh's tire and then followed the lawyer until he pulled over. So possibly, and this is unconfirmed, but possibly somebody he stops somewhere. Gas station or something. Somebody gets into his car, takes a knife out of his car, puts a hole in his tire that is not immediately,
that's what
readily
I'm saying.
available, and then
I'm with that. I can imagine that possibility, but just it raises the obvious question: if you've gone through enough time to plan out this whole thing, why wouldn't you bring a knife from home? Like, if you've got this, I know, I'll follow him until he stops somewhere, slash his tires, and then shoot him while he's changing the tire.
Yeah, because what do you do if you show up, like you have this plan that's very, very specific, and you show up and while he's in getting his snacks at the diner, you are like, God damn it, there's no knife of his in here. Guess we'll have to try again next time. and hope for there to be a knife of his in here. That doesn't make any sense unless they stole it from his house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Unless somebody stole it, like when they murdered his family.
But it's not obvious to me how. Like, I guess I could, knowing all this. I mean, the guy seems if you're the sort of person who embezzles the 8 figures and uses opioids, I would say that makes you more likely to be a family annihilator. Would you agree with that?
Unfortunately, I would.
I wouldn't put it as likely. I'm not saying no trial is necessary, throw him in jail, but it's upping the probability some. You know, you're wandering into a world where the wife discovers the embezzlement and you feel like you got to do something to keep this under wraps.
Yeah.
Everything's spinning out of control.
Or you're acting super weird because you're addicted to extremely heavy narcotics.
Yeah.
And now you realize that the jig is up.
Drug use often accompanies crimes, which is why I don't do them anymore.
By the way, there was also a 2015 death that after his son killed the guy while they were boating, they opened up a new inquiry into this 2015 death of a 19-year-old man.
Hey, no.
What do we got?
They just littered.
You got a fucking litterer over here?
The fucking
threw it
black
out of the
sedan reached the stop sign, had the window already down, tossed a blue cup.
Dude,
it's in the gutter now.
My yard is littered with cups from people who litter.
From him.
But I always assume it just flies out of the back of their truck when somebody is not properly.
He meant to do that.
That's a legacy litter right there. That's what we call that.
Just for the listener who doesn't know what's going on.
Like, yeah, we painted a pretty solid picture.
We do the podcast whenever we're at Jake's house in front of a large bay window. It's not quite a bay window. I think the bay window usually pushes out a little bit, right? But it's just a large window. It's a Michael Bay window.
Oh, dude, this is a fucking straight
I know it's
wall.
not a bay window. I'm just saying it's a big. I thought that bay meant big. I didn't know that was an old word for big. No, I'm kidding. We had bay windows when I was a kid growing up. I know what they are. But we do the show staring out the large window of Jake's home. And can see the small intersection in front of it. If you want to look at it on Google Maps, I'll just give out the address to give a
it'd
clearer
probably
picture.
be cool if you didn't.
Oh, okay.
I had a buddy. I've certainly told this, but it's probably been many years. But he was a big litterer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we would catch him all
Just
the time.
loved to litter.
Like, because he was a guy who kept a pretty messy car. You know, he had a single cab truck.
I assume that.
And he would eat in his car all the time and even, drink in his car. And I would see him throw shit out of his car all the time. Like if I was driving behind him when we were pulling back up to a house or something. We started busting his balls about it one time. We were like, dude, you're like the only person we know that litters. Like nobody does that anymore.
Don't mess with Texas.
I can honestly say that I don't know that I've ever littered.
Oh.
Hey, cut it out.
I can't immediately recall a time. There was always a large stigma placed on that as a child.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a big one for my mom too, which is really weird because it's not like she's, a hippie or anything, but the environment, recycling and not littering. But anyways, we used to bust his ass for this all the time. Like, dude, it's just gross. Like, you're the only person who does this. And you have to imagine this person having a very Charlie Day-like affect. Mm-hmm. And he got really mad about like the 10th time we did it.
Someone I know.
Of course. And he was like, what the fuck, man? He's like, all the time on this littering. All the time you guys are all over me about littering. You act like I subscribe to Litterers Monthly. That always stuck with me. What a funny idea for a publication.
Oh yeah, they got a good spread this month.
As the market becomes more segmented and niche.
Yeah, that's how you win in today's media culture.
We want to target in this ecosystem.
Super serve.
People that just
small segment that's not being served already.
That just love litterers.
Absolutely.
So that's my right now they've gotten away with this, huh?
That's a good one.
I think there's a chance that they will.
So I wanted to spend the last 10 minutes that we have here. Do we have 10 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Then I got to go get school supplies.
I want to spend the last 10 minutes we have here talking about Kanye a little bit. We don't have to rehash. We didn't review the album last time. We were just talking to Matt, right?
Yeah.
But I've just been thinking about the listening party. I had some thoughts about the listening party. I really liked the listening party. It was streaming on Apple Music, and I watched it live. It's Kanye's house in Soldier Field. Pretty dope. And, it starts out by... Well, first of all, the whole thing, the stuff around how he launched the album, the constant delays, that sort of thing. I do want everyone to once again note, what time of year is it, Jake? It's summer. You remember my whole thing? You're looking at me kind of blank.
Well, it's not really even summer.
It's summer for another... September 21st is when summer ends.
I think there are conflicting reports on this.
No, it's the solstice.
Yeah, but I heard the muser saying that there's a meteorological summer in September 1st, which means weathermen say it's summer. And
That's
I trust
bullshit,
them.
dude. It's the fucking equinoxes and solstices.
I know that, but anyways.
We got another couple weeks of summer. My point is, Kanye's just been sitting in this hot weather cooking. His mania is going off, and that's what's going on. You see a lot of crazy stories about Kanye over the course of his career, and it is my long time point that all of them occurred during warm weather.
Because he just can't wait for football.
That's right. He's just jonesing for some
Andy
ball.
Dalton.
That's why he wouldn't leave NFL stadiums.
That's right.
But so he just, the first song he brings out two widely reviled figures who are having some tough press right now. Marilyn Manson and Baby.
The Baby.
The Baby. And I don't want to have back-to-back weeks of defending the Jeopardy guy, which again I was not doing, and then defending these two. I'm happy to say that at a certain point, bad people deserve bad press and consequences for their actions. But I think that there is something to... Whenever Kanye does stuff, because it's Kanye and because I'm so in the bag for him, I don't approach it from is this good or is this bad sort of thing. I just try to assimilate it into, I'm just looking to build an argument for why it is in fact good. And I find that to be, I see the dangers of that. I think they're obvious, but it's also a nice way to go about things. I wish that there were more... And I mean, I guess in some sense, I'm describing this sort of tribal behavior that we all are constantly doing. And maybe it's just I've put myself in the position I don't like because I don't like either the Democrat or Republican Party. And so I'm not, it's not like, I'm just looking at Joe Biden's things as, I'm assuming that all of them are good and I'm just trying to figure out why. But that is the space I'm in with Kanye. I assume that everything he does is good, and I just want to figure out why it's good. And it sort of frees you from certain constructs. No follow-up questions, please.
I was gonna probably just not.
I don't know what I mean by that. That's why I'm saying no follow-up questions. I haven't pinned this down yet.
Well, I think people call it a religion.
Yeah.
Usually.
It is just kind of a fun way to go through things. And especially I don't want to touch the Marilyn Manson stuff.
I was going to say, I don't know that they really even belong in the same
I agree.
bucket.
Yeah. But the Baby stuff, it's a terrible, reprehensible view. His verse on it is hilarious. It's like it's like a fucking drill tweet, but it's a verse of just it's the fucking, so you persecute Jared Fogle for his beliefs? I go and say one thing and y'all get mad. What the fuck? I feed my kids with this.
Except he believes it.
I bet that, he obviously believes it. That's what makes it hilarious. But I don't know. It's fun being freed from. Here's what I'm trying to say a little bit. Here's a better way of putting a finer point on it. Freeing yourself from asking, basically being the jury constantly. That's what I don't like. I don't like that in this court of public opinion, I am constantly being asked to play juror. Like, that's the expectation of me as someone who participates in the public discourse, is I'm supposed to be condemning these people. And I don't like condemning people a lot of the times. I think that everyone is made in the image of their Lord Jesus Christ and deserves love. And so I don't want to find out why I'm supposed to hate DaBaby. Like, it's bad that he said those things. I wish that he wouldn't have said them. But, like, I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Like, this idea that we put on ourselves that we have some kind of, like, obligation to, mete out the penalties for these people. Like, we're all acting as, like, a mini state dispensing justice with what based on what we like listen on and what we're buying and sort of shit like that. And like, I understand, and it comes from a good place, an impulse of trying to make things better, and I appreciate that. But just watching, just enjoying the fuck out of, like having them sit on the fucking porch of Kanye's reconstructed childhood home in Soldier Field and just having a good time. It was real. I realized how much of a weight is on my shoulders by, every day I'm fucking showing up for jury duty, and I don't want to do it anymore.
They came for one of your faves.
I don't like him, really. I like
just like Nancy Pelosi's granddaughter or niece. I screw that up every time. Said about Epstein.
I think it was just her daughter.
No way.
I think it's just her daughter.
Really? I thought she would have, your daughter would probably understand a little better, maybe not pop off on the Epstein thing while I'm in a position of power. And
I mean,
it definitely was her daughter.
That's implying a lot more awareness than I've assumed anyone in her family has ever had.
That's probably true. The Epstein case is horrific and the young women deserve justice. It is quite likely that some of our faves are implicated, but we must follow the facts and let the chips fall where they may.
She's right.
Some of our faves, man.
Yeah, what part do you disagree with?
You hate to see some of our faves, especially
Chris Tucker's on the plane, dude.
Especially after they got, that's still the best.
That he's on the plane?
It's still the best.
Or are you talking about Rush Hour?
No, it's...
Can we watch Rush Hour this weekend?
100%.
Hell yeah.
I'm not a big fan of like the karate crossovers.
But that one.
That one's pretty good, yeah. Just the fact that Chris Tucker was wrapped up in that shit is...
You remember when he said do you understand the words?
I do remember that part.
Yeah, that was good.
I do remember that part. I am willing to bet, without having seen that movie in 20 years, that there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of Timbaland beats in it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say over-the-line Asian slurs, and I was inclined to agree.
Yeah, that's probably true, too.
But you're probably right. Obviously, Mariah Carey's Fantasy figures prominently.
Is that a Timba beat?
No. That's... I mean, I don't know who technically, but it's Tom Tom Club, the Talking Heads minus David Byrne, is that like they have a song that's identical.
Okay.
They just like put a couple things on it. But I don't know who's credited with putting the couple things on it. But just whenever they kidnap the girl, she's singing to it. It's a very good scene. You'll see.
Anyways, you're mad that everybody's mad at Kanye.
Not mad that everybody's... But what do you think about that? Do you feel like that there is a weight being put on you by everyone? Like, every morning you wake up and Twitter's like, look at this.
Yeah, to an extent, but I feel like by saying the older I get, I really only mean like the last year of my life. Mm-hmm. I kind of check out a lot.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And I mean, on one hand, it's different when you're talking about an entertainer than you are somebody who actually has like policy power, because, I'm not going to tweet about it because I really only tweet about like the Aggies, and I only do that like once every 2 months. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I feel like what Greg Abbott said yesterday was pretty reprehensible. And I woke up today and pretty much half my feed was Greg Abbott. We're going to Minority Report the act of rape talk. Yeah. And I find that he's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that has the same onus as when you're talking about somebody who's just an entertainer.
Yeah, well, I just mean like the stuff where the people had an otherwise neutral position.
And then something changes, yeah.
Whenever the Mike Richards thing went down, there was a strain of people saying that the Big Bang lady had some wild views. And it's like, why do I have to give a fuck about the fucking backup Jeopardy host's views on vaccinations?
But to an extent, though, I do wonder how much of
Or
this...
like John Mulaney.
And I really feel like...
I'm being called into court to weigh in on fucking whether or not John Mulaney has properly been respectful to his... I don't know if she's his ex-wife yet. But
yeah, she is.
Trending that way.
Yeah, I think as of a month after his first date with Olivia Munn, she was officially his ex-wife. The pinnacle of this, though, and I suspect this is the case a lot of the time, but we just have absolutely no way to know anymore because, this whole thing was set up where you would go to a meeting with like your other citizens and then you would give your opinions and you would like have a representation and then we would decide how we wanted to proceed. I have no idea who thinks what, how many of them there are. But I don't really think anybody was actually mad about Brian Kelly outside of maybe like 1% of people that saw that. Now, it's possible Chris Fowler was one of those people. And I don't even think Chris Fowler
We didn't watch that, did we?
We had turned it off.
Yeah.
It was a long game, dude.
Yeah, no, there was an overtime. I don't remember what we put on, but I know that there was an immediate cry for a YouTube video.
Yeah, it was out. We were out at that point. But so I don't think anybody was actually mad about that. And
Dude, that night, I mean, like, this is not a refutation of the point you're making because this is just some people on Twitter, and I think that they're podcast listeners. So shout out. Like, I'm not saying this to like because I hate everything that they're about. But someone tagged me in a conversation they appeared to be having with their friend, where both of them were like, "I mean, this has to be it for him." And
one of them might have been Mike Reiner.
yeah, maybe.
And it's so funny, like when I saw that, like the next day.
Does anyone else even remember where Mike Reiner got this opinion? I do. I always know.
Well, I mean, I don't, but I do remember the time. It's funny, like, oh, this has got to be it for him. Like Brian Kelly literally assaulted a strength and conditioning coach on the sideline in front of God and country, and
really true.
Nothing happened.
If that's assault, they should relax what assault is.
But in the workplace, like a coach, like he attacked him on the sideline.
He did not attack him. He got him to back up.
I think that was an attack.
The guy was stepping to an official. He was just trying to be like, "Hey, I will talk to the officials," and did so like with his arm.
You're turning very close to Sean Connery territory here.
Nah, just like a forearm, keeping him back. Only with the open hand.
That's Brian Kelly.
Yeah, that's how. No, he's Irish, not.
Dude, that's pretty heavy. Like he runs right up to him and grabs him by the shirt collar and starts yanking him backward. But anyways, this is infinitely worse than the joke that Brian Kelly made.
What you need to understand is that David Grimes is in the family. And how we talk to family is family business.
That's true. Now, I assume that means he's still employed there?
No.
Oh.
That was a while ago, dude. Strength and conditioning is always rolling over. He's a former receiver.
Grimy.
He'd
like to be called.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was overturned, but he had a catch that, if the refs had seen it correctly, is a catch against Stanford. That's one of the real all-time special plays.
It's your favorite.
It is like always included in the highlights. So like I think that it was overturned, but I'm not sure because I will often watch highlights of the 2007 Notre Dame Stanford game. We were gunning for our third win in the final game of the season, but
That's awesome.
It was triumphant in its own way. There's something you can remember good from every season. And Grimey's catch against Stanford is that for 2007.
Well, okay, just don't worry about it, dude. You can still like Kanye, no matter who he brings up there. Doesn't matter. He can bring Mike Richards or Jared Fogle or... I am kind of interested to see how far he would take this.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, it was clear enough from the texts that he was putting up.
He's got the Q Viking guy of the.
If he found a reason, but like he had Baby's public support for his presidential bid. He's like, if he was riding for me for that, I'm not going to turn my back on him now. I think that there is something honorable about caring about the personal relationships and. I don't know. I wish that he wouldn't have said it. Whatever. Yeah. I'm going to stop digging. Everyone have a nice week.
We'll see you.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
We do thank you for watching. Good night.